Hey guys, welcome to the Richest Real Estate Agent Podcast, where there's way better metrics in life to measuring rich than just GCI. We're going to talk to the top influencers in real estate and top influencers in the mindset space. We're going to break down the emotional intelligence needed to be successful as an agent and stay there for 20 years. Welcome to the show. Let's get at it. Hey guys, Ben Osterveld here with another Ben, Mr. Ben Loates. How are you, my friend?
Doing great, buddy.
Sweet. Okay, so here's the deal. This is the third time you've been on my show, but as we've rebranded now, so we have to have you on. It's a Richest Real Estate Agent. The whole show is really about the mindset. What makes a real rich agent? What are the things that, obviously GCI and making money are really important, but to actually be a rich human being, and what does it take? And of course, we're going to have you on the show. So really appreciate you, man. Love you like a brother. I'm glad you're here.
So stoked. Round 3. And I'm just hyped to get into some stuff. This is going to be awesome.
Let's go, man. First, I got to congratulate you, man. You know, you've sold 3 properties this year. You've done really well. 3. And you almost had a 4th one. That's 1 a quarter. And
you know what? I had to drive 3 hours out for it. The home inspection was a real beast, and it just fell apart at the last second. But man, it was
okay.
Close.
This is a bunch of crap, dude. You're almost at 100 deals this year. Absolutely incredible. You're dominating social media right now. Everyone should pull an ADD and jump on and give me your Instagram tag, Ben.
That real estate guy.
That real estate guy. If you want to see how social media is done, how much percentage of your business is social media and now referrals mixed?
I'm going to say probably 60% referrals, 40% social, or maybe 50-50.
Yeah. And you don't do lead gen, you don't door knock, you don't do mail outs, you don't do cold calls, you don't do anything like that, correct?
Correct.
So here's the thing. I love the fact that I got to see your way up.
Yeah.
I was a 100 deal guy. And I just want to touch social because people do know you as a social. I told everyone to go there. I use you as an example. I've had you speak at my events. I've had you come out and share on the podcast and your thing is a social media guy. Today, we're going to go a little bit deeper into mindset and how you actually operate your business, because I think it's extremely different. And it's just typical Ben Loates, like completely messed up in every way. We're so freaking good, and you're an awesome guy. But social media, here's the thing: people look at you and they see your social media, and they go, "Wow, he's got it," and it's working so well. Can you talk about what you're doing on social and what's working for you?
I think for me these days, really more than anything, those Insta stories are so good. To have a geographic base of people in your immediate area, and to know that between 600 and 800 people are watching what you're doing every day, it's incredible. So from the point of view of people just liking me and seeing what I'm doing every day, and then at the same time, marketing wise, I literally sold homes, especially in the seller's market last year, off of Insta before I even got the listing up on MLS. So I think that's a huge one. So that's kind of, it's the same structure that I did before, which was, here's a fun sold photo. Here's the story of everything we've done with my heart.
Let's just back up. So let's describe the so-called fun, like people are going to go on your social and take a look at it.
Right.
They're freaking brilliant. Okay. The genius level is unreal. Like the green carpet one, I will never forget. Scroll down his feed and find the Ninja Turtles green carpet, fun little photo, and he brings his freaking clients in on it. It's like, Ben, like, I think I'm a creative dude, and then I see what you do, and I'm like, okay, touche.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. So tell me about this. What is that? And where did you come up with that idea? Paint the picture.
Yeah, do you know what? I think the very first home that I sold, I'm used to people doing a sold picture, which is you very nicely stand in front of the sign and sold, and usually it's the realtor truly.
Yeah. It's like percentage of
I'm
like 90% of the frame is the
yeah,
real estate
right. It's
agent.
like
Yeah.
I'm freaking awesome. By the way, here's a couple people that represent
Yeah.
that I'm able to
And
do
your
my job.
logo and phone number and
Yeah,
Instagram and every handle is on that picture. It's like, oh, it's about
yeah,
my clients.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think so. The first sold photo I ever did, it literally in Spruce Grove. It was them standing in front, and it was a really normal one. I was standing there, they were standing there, and then if you swipe to the next one, this is 8 years ago. It was them being like, yeah, and there's the first house I ever sold, so I was like jumping, like authentically, I was stoked, and so that was the first photo I took, and I think even for me then, it was just a contrast of what I was used to seeing. And it's okay to celebrate. It's okay to be hyped and to reflect that. It's okay to have an imperfect picture and not market yourself as though you're this incredible professional that's done your job, which you have. But the proof of that is that there's a sold sticker and these people are happy. So you don't have to, you can let your hair down a little bit and have some fun. And then I think after that point, just the idea of having something that, like, you go through all that work, all that effort, all those tears, for a sold day, it's like a blessing for me to look back and go and see and read the stories, but then it's a real blessing for my clients to go back and read the stories and remember. And also they go and share the heck out of that too once you put that
But
up
now,
and put
okay,
that
so
effort
you
into
went,
it.
totally get it. The crazy picture that you did a big jumping up and down. That triggered
Yeah.
the idea though. You
Yeah,
replicated
absolutely.
that on every
Yeah.
single one. I've seen you like, I don't know what you do. Like some guy's holding a stupid mug. One
Yeah,
guy's
yeah,
like
yeah.
one time, I don't know if you're breaking into the house like a burglar. I don't know what you're doing, but you've taken the sold picture and created it something like I like to say when I'm doing any kind of coaching, I say, do something worth talking about. And I feel like you nail that because it's like your picture's worth talking about. I love
Yeah,
it. Anyways, people need to see that. And it's cool to
yeah,
hear the origin story. And
yeah.
but so you're saying Instagram stories real quick. So you're doing this every day, all day, documenting your day. Like what are you
Totally.
doing?
Sometimes I don't. I'm too busy to document my day every day, but sometimes I'll pick a week and go, "Are you guys ready to come along with me? Here's what my week looks like," and I'll do that. But honestly, it's at a point now where there's so much momentum with it. Everybody assumes you're already busy. They don't want to hear that you're busy because you look like a real d bag. Honestly, it's just it's unique for me, Ben, because I actually like doing it. I like the interaction with people. I'm not feeling like, oh, I got to put something up. It's like sometimes I'll share a stupid little meme that I think is hilarious, and I'll get more engagement on that with people. Other times, usually when there's a property, I'll do a quick run through of it before it hits the market. It's other times it's me playing with my kids. Other times it's a quick talk about where the market's at, and I think what people may appreciate about mine is I think when they see my dumb little face with the thing on there for the Insta story, I think they have no friggin' clue what is going to come up
Which you
when they
love.
click on it. I do. And I know for myself when I'm scrolling, if I click that thing, it's because I actually want something of value to me. And usually when I'm not quite sure, but I remember, well, last time I checked, yeah, that was pretty funny. I like that people would be on their toes. Like, is it a new listing? Where is he today? Is he sharing a really stupid meme that like makes me laugh quickly?
I gotta ask you
Yeah,
this. So we can listen to this, and this is what the analytical mind does. It just deals with so many real estate agents. Okay, so the
right.
system is
You would
what you're
have
gonna
that vantage
you,
point.
yeah, it's like, okay, so what we got to do is what Ben did. His system is
Yeah,
Insta stories, really fun closings. He's going to do like daily updates, make sure there's good memes, pictures of your family. Okay,
right.
beautiful. Hold on. I could get 25 people to do exactly what you're doing and it doesn't work.
Wow.
Why?
Well, it's what you always talk about. I learned last year, Ben, when it comes to social, and this is just me being honest with who I am. When everything is as busy, when you're in the fire of your 95 deal year, and it's like, instead of doing other things, I would actually sit in my driveway and post something on social. And so when I have no time to do anything, I'll still post something, and it's because authentically I like it. I like
it.
the interaction. It's actually cathartic for me to put that out there
It's
and
magic
have
to you.
feedback. So I value the interaction. So therefore, when I have no time, I still give that 12 minutes of my time because it makes me go, ah. So there's this authentic,
Yeah.
this is fun for me, right? This
And,
is
and so
social. This
and
is
so if anyone sees Ben's social, it's crazy. And sometimes, okay, I know people. I've heard people say you're an idiot to me, and they didn't know that you're like my buddy. And like, oh, I'm like, have you seen this? Yeah, that guy's an idiot. And I'm like, and and it's really polarizing to certain people that judge goofballs and whatever it is. And I know you can. I know you're confident enough that doesn't shake you. The fact is that you're authentic. And
Mm,
that's the thing, right? You're willing to risk the guy saying you're an idiot. That's the thing that I think is missing in social is that people filter themselves so much they become invisible.
mm,
You actually stand out. That means there's going to be people that are literally told me you're an idiot. And it's like you have to pay that price if you're
mm.
going to be seen.
Yeah,
People want to do social and not risk that.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I mean, it's just fun for me. And I think they're just, we've talked about this so many times on other podcasts, so we don't have to belabor it.
For sure.
But anytime I put out something that I think is quality is when I'm a little freaked out that I've pushed it too
Yeah.
far. And
Beautiful.
typically that's a wonderful, oh, we just went up a level. And when I look back on things I would post 6 years ago that felt avant-garde, they're chill now. I mean,
Nothing. Yeah.
so
Love it. And, and
um
and the proof is in the pudding.
yeah.
Your system runs. You get a ton of activity from it. We definitely get people need to go look at it. But everyone listening right now, Ben is Ben, and you are you. And Ben was trained in as a traveling clown circus. We won't go into that. That's another podcast. But when you're a natural entertainer, okay, like he
Mm,
understands how to make someone laugh and practice is it that was his job back as a child, his story. But just one thing before I go on is that people need to understand it's not your social media. It's half social media, if not 20%. It's who you are, Ben. Because people think social media, they spend so much time trying to get the human to call them, okay, and to reach out to them, to get their
sure.
audience, but they don't realize that it's still a human to human interaction. You can
I'll
have the
tell you a
best.
story here.
Go
I'll
for it.
tell you one story.
Love
So, and I think this is a great example. So, I put up a best of 2019 video, which is essentially all of my most stupid moments on
that.
video
Love
for the
that.
year. And it was about 15 minutes long. And a dude actually called me and he just said, I just want you to know, I mean, I've watched your videos for 3 or 4 years. I don't even want to buy a house, but I was having a rough day and I watched your best of 2019 video and I just laughed, man. And I just want to say, thank you for just brightening my day today. And I was like, wow, okay, thanks, man. What's your name? Let's make this a little less weird. But I got off the phone and went, wow, like that's cool. It's much more than just trying to get people and trying to sell a house. You're able to positively affect people. And that's just one person who is willing to call. But there's a
And
there's
that's
a bigger
times a
picture
thousand,
there.
times 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that. And the fact that you would even share that story, Ben, actually shows who you are.
Mm,
Like, think about that. Like, oh man, this guy came and he was so moved by my thing. And I helped him brighten his. Yeah, that means it shows who you are. Like
mm.
that means a lot to you. You know what I mean?
It
It's like,
does. Yeah.
so Ben, you and I have some incredible conversations. I feel like you have this. I don't know what it is, man. It's like you know me, in some level, and you say the right things at the right time. We've had some
Mm,
amazing conversations. You actually taught me one time and really shared something you were learning about, and about you use the word toil or
mm.
striving, and
Yeah.
man, in this being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, any real estate agent, holy crap, do you strive? Do you? So I want you to really lay out this thought about
Ah,
toil and however you want to do it. I just feel like the world needs to learn this, and it's something that I would love to hear again.
okay. This will be fun to try and say this in the most catchable way. So I will
Don't
actually,
even overthink it. Just go for
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'll break it down
Yeah, okay.
biblically the way I heard it. So, um, in the Bible, there's a word called toil, and so there's a spot in the Bible where a guy goes, Jesus, how do we pray? Jesus goes, well, let me show you how to pray. So he says, this is what you say when you pray. Our Father, right? We've all heard this, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Then there's this part where it says, and deliver us from evil. Okay, my whole life. And so I heard this about 4 years ago, and it shifted my mindset in life, but it also massively shifted my mindset how I do business. And so deliver us from evil. And I was always like, yeah, like Lord of the Rings, like the orcs, like, right? Deliver us from like darkness.
The devil. Yeah.
Interesting. That's right. Interesting. When this guy that was talking about this, he said, okay, it's interesting. The word evil biblically actually is, there's two words for evil in the Bible. One is in Latin, it's panero. And what that means is, well, and then there's kakos, paneros and kakos. Kakos, deliver us from kakos. That is that like darkness, like, oh, it's evil and it wants to destroy you. Paneros is the word toil. And when Jesus was teaching people to pray, and if you believe that Jesus was the walking Son of God, so God's saying, here's how you pray. Pray that I would deliver you from paneros, that I would deliver you from toil. In other words, that I would deliver you from your belief that you're the one that makes everything work. So in other words, the evil is your belief that you are the one that it's all on, that it's on you, that you blow in your own inner tube, and that's the only way that thing's going to stay. That human belief that there's something, nothing else except us, that
like what your
to make
own
it work.
effort. It's all from your own effort. Your own.
And Jesus, yes, and Jesus actually says he wasn't even worried about telling them to pray about Satan. Here, pray that I deliver you from Satan. Jesus is like, I forget that I would deliver you from your belief that it's all on you, because that is evil. That is that definition of evil. And I was just like, oh, and so how does that translate into our businesses?
How does that translate for the real
Yeah,
estate? Because man,
totally.
if you were like, so give me, yeah, go ahead. I'd love to hear what you think about that. How
There's
does it apply here?
there's nothing more unattractive than watching someone do something that they're convinced is working in their own mind, but everyone else around sees that it's a complete joke. There's nothing. Think of a human doing something. Think of somebody going to a gym and sitting on a machine and just starting to go like this, and they're so stoked on themselves. They're like, I'm working out. But really they have no clue that they're doing nothing. Then they're like in the scaffolding at the gym moving things, but really they're convinced, I am working out, yet everyone else there knows, no, you're not doing anything. Think of the time wasted that person that goes to the gym thinking they're doing something. It's gross, it's unattractive, it's and it wastes time. You do so much that you think you're supposed to do, and at the end of your life, you'll go back, and I feel like you'll go back and meet God, and he'll give you a run through of just everything that mattered and didn't matter. And you were so convinced of the things that did matter in your business. Oh, I've got to follow up, and I've got to make sure I network, and I've got to make sure, and when somebody calls, I've got to pursue that, and I've got to, and God bless,
needs to be covered, and
God bless all of us. You do have to work, and you and I have talked about that, where it's a fine line between you go and shred, but that toil is disgusting. That belief that you're doing something, and the worst thing about it is others will affirm you are doing something. Yes, you're building this thing, all the while you're building a little pile of dirt, when in fact, if you let that pass away and just trust, and this sounds so floofy, but if you trust something deeper than that, there's this whole other structure.
So let's talk about proof.
Built.
Let's talk about proof on this. Okay. Let's talk about a story from a real estate transaction where you were absolutely toiling. you didn't listen to, you did build that small mound and the price you had to
Yeah.
pay. And then I love another contrasting story about the time where what you're talking about worked.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh man. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh, you got one. He's smiling
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, once I learned that thing about toil, I'll just say this: I felt like I almost went back over the last 5 years of my life. Now that that made sense to me, now that there was a definition, because I
You
always felt
filter.
these gut feelings that I couldn't put words to. Why do I feel that way when I meet a client like that? Why do I? Oh, why is there this vacant feeling when I'm walking around showing people houses and I feel like I'm kind of just dragging a dead horse? What? I don't know what that is, but I feel it. We have all these feelings. After I learned that sort of revelation about toil and how gross and actually evil it is towards your life and growth, I went back and started considering all of these instances where I went, oh, that was toil. Oh, that. And here's the thing about toil, it'll never pan out. And even if you force it and make it work in the long run, it will never pan out because there's a
What's
life.
the example? Give me the
All right.
example.
All right.
Give me the
So,
example. I think I got it. I'm like, you got a listing. You shouldn't have taken it. What's the story?
oh man, it's like
You
I'll
told
just
me
give you.
these ones. That's
I
why I'm
got one.
pushing.
I I got one here. And it's a really good. Okay, I met a lady, wonderful human. They had just come into town. They bought a house, and it was a really nice house, about 550 or so. And it was just above their budget where they were at. They had to buy in a pinch, and we even connected well as humans. Like I liked them. They were in a tough spot. I was able to help them. And I remember though, so I went to list their house, and I remember even as I was like doing up the marketing, I just felt dead inside. I just felt like I don't care about this house, which was a real contrast for me because I liked them. I I wanted to help them, and they had reached out to me, or we there was a mortgage broker that referred us, and so um, I went along with them with that dead feeling. Stuff just never quite clicked. We never had really any showings. It was a tough time in the market. And at the end of the day, and it's not like they were the worst, but every interaction felt like I was dragging a dead horse with me. I met them three different times, and we just talked about a few different strategies. And at the end of the day, Ben, it just fizzled. It it turned into nothing. But that was 4 months of a relationship. That was 4 months of my mental time. That was 4 months of my advertising money. 4 months of it. It it died. And so I looked back and I'm like, why? Everything seemed okay. It died. But I remembered when I first listed it, saying to Jenna, when I put it up, I remember uploading it onto Facebook. And I remember saying, man, I just feel like I don't even care about this listing. Though that was the indicator that it just wasn't for me. And and I've learned now, had I listened to that,
You
I could
pushed
have
through.
referred that out.
You pushed.
I
You
pushed through, and we're supposed to, but that's been the next step for my business um, is that the type of life that I want to live? That I just force my business for the next 20 years? That is not fun. And I look at that 4 months wasted, Benny, and I will be a 95-year-old man, or 100, God willing. Um, I will lament over that 4 months of wasted time. I will lament over the mental space that I should not have spent over those wonderful people, but it wasn't my place to be. I wasn't actually the one for them. And so I look back at that, and I thought about the genesis of, and that's like, where did that start is always my question. And you know what? It was referred from a mortgage broker, and this was years and years ago. But actually, me and that mortgage broker didn't jive in how we ran our businesses, and so I felt like I actually came in line with how they functioned, which was quite strivey. And I came into that flavor, and it just wasn't for me. And so I should have recognized it at the start, and it would have been a wonderful opportunity to send to somebody else. They could have had a wonderful time with them, but that was 4 months of wasted time for me.
for sharing that. I think
Is
that's
that
pretty
fair?
cool. It's really good. I'm just thinking of your 95 houses you sold. What we're not talking about is that it could have been 125.
Yeah.
You could have, like, this is fact. You gave away
Yeah.
30 deals.
Yes.
30 deals. Hey guys, Ben here, real quick. Realestaterebootcamp.com.
This is where we're helping real estate agents who are busy, who are maybe getting a little disconnected from their family and the life that they wanted to live before they got their license. They need systems and they need to get their business to serve them versus getting trapped in their business. They need systems, they need help. Jump on a call with me, realestaterebootcamp.com. Cheers. Back to the show.
So tell me about that. Is that part of your philosophy, that you're not striving when you have that gut feeling? Do you just blindly trust it? Like needing the deal or not, you just blindly trust it and say, this one's not mine. Tell me what you think about that.
Yeah, literally now as I run, and this year, this is how I ran this whole year. The moment a lead comes in, and I don't care how good it is or how bad it is, I don't actually try and gauge it off of the data that I'm given.
Right,
I don't even look them up or lurk them on Insta or Facebook. The first question I'll ask when it comes in is this for me? Because the first thing that I value is my family, my time. I don't want to get into bed with somebody for 4 months and it was for nothing. And so that is actually my first question. Is this for me? And there's this gut feeling that I've learned to hear and understand and trust, and I don't have to know the reasons why. If it's a no, I'll immediately just say to them before I even whittle my way in, hey, I've got my guy James. He's amazing. Would you be okay to work with him? I think I'm just a little busy or whatever. And I find 9.9 out of 10 times they're like, oh, sounds great. And then James goes and crushes it, and he's blessed, and I'm blessed for that. And for me, I dodged toiling over something that I wasn't supposed to be a part of anyways. However, I was supposed to bring it in. And so that's that distinction of, well, are you a good net, or are you supposed to do the whole freaking process?
If I talk to James, which actually he's been in my world, he's actually coming to our next retreat.
Sweet.
And yeah, if we said, hey, how's business? Like just to think about what you've done for the numbers that he has. I know he's had some incredible year again.
Yeah.
And you got him 30 deals. That's your go-to? Like it's just.
I had a few other peeps too throughout the time, but James got a healthy portion of that. Yeah.
And so like, what a cool thing. Like, what a cool thing. That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what? The richest real estate agent, is something I think about, because just working with so many agents that are just going after the GCI, the awards, the money, which, hey, I'm good with all of it.
Sure.
It's just that there's missing metrics, like what you actually want. You know what I mean? And so that's why the podcast here, we wrote the book, and it's just bringing that, and what people understand is the word mindset. You and I would probably go a little deeper in a psychological or spiritual or whatever. But what are the things that, if we could say to the person listening to become more of a rich life? When I say rich, I'm thinking like a nice dessert, not rich in bank account, because a nice dessert can still cost a lot. But what I'm saying is, if you had to say a mindset shift or a perspective change needed in the industry, from your perspective, being a super successful agent, crushing online, what would you say needs to change from the mindset perspective?
I think the belief that you are worth having excellent interactions and clients, and a trust that when you say no to something from your gut, and this is so cliche, but I believe it with my whole heart. When you release a powerful no and say a goodbye to a transaction, which to me is on average about $7,000. When you're willing to say goodbye to $7,000 in your hands because your gut doesn't feel right, it opens the door somewhere else for 3 beautiful transactions. And James could tell you stories, because James has walked with me for the last 3 years intimately and listens to my ridiculous system of functioning. And he has told me stories upon story where he goes, you know what? I just didn't feel right and I let it go. And then like 3 weeks later, he's like, I got 2 calls, Ben. These relationships I have with these people out of the blue. And it's like yearly, this just keeps coming. Oh, I didn't even see it coming, Ben. It's like what you're saying is real. And for me, even before real estate.
And he's a logical mind, right? So
He
he's going to
sure
use
is.
evidence. He's going to try to break it to prove it. Like just a logical mind, right?
For me, this is how I've lived my life since I was 18, whether it was in real estate or skateboarding, whatever. It's been that gut feeling of trusting that. And it's very real. And I truly believe, you know, if in our industry, it's just so backwards, and I get it. It is so backwards to tell someone when a lead comes in, decide whether that's something you should work for or not. And I do want to give a disclaimer, because when I started in my first 3 years, I covered every single lead from 2 hours away to a bipolar people to, I did it all. And you know what? I had to, and I had to grow, and I had to cut my chops.
I'm glad you say that. I was just on a session with some people jumping into my world of coaching, and there's 2 newbies that are, and they said, I said, look, we're talking the same thing. It's like, you need to really know what you want. You need to align to the right clients. But I said, oh, by the way, though, the 2 newbies, take it all. I said,
So
I literally say, if you need to provide for your family, you got to take that asshole client and you need to grind it out. I honestly believe that I believe that's a really good, because a newbie listening to this, you need 100 relationships, if not 200 or 300 to start. And so the only thing that matters is, so it's a really cool, because what a cool contrast to leave on this show, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like trust your gut, but you know what? If you need to pay the bill, you need to do this. I think there's a permission in that sense.
I will just say, I remember 3rd year into real estate, working with a person, and I am in Disney at Blizzard Beach. And it's possession day. And she's like, when am I supposed to be out of the house? Well, it's noon. I'm not ready. I have nothing out of my house. I'm at Blizzard Beach, Ben. You have to get, and this was just the cherry on top of 4 months of complete carnage. So just so everybody knows, we all have to wet our whistle. We all have to get our chops going. I think even what we're talking about, and even as I've been growing with James too, what we're talking about is when you start hitting maybe 30 deals a year and you're finding there's this consistency, like, oh, this thing's starting to roll. It's almost what we're talking about is sort of that next level of what type of quality.
Just a bit of momentum. Or let's put another disclaimer. If you don't need the cash and you can take your time, then don't.
Beautiful. That's right.
Just then start that way, because that is a better way. It's just, it will work. It's just that you don't say no if you got to feed your kids. That's all.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. And, going to that next level, I do believe that the exercising of no's, or the exercising of referring that to somewhere else, just because it doesn't feel right, is wildly powerful. And I promise anyone listening, it's real. And if you feel that in your guts, if you've got a connection to God somewhere in your life and you remember hearing God at some point, I think that was a whisper, try it. If you don't feel good, refer that out and watch and see. There will be, it's like, this is ridiculous, but I have 3 quality transactions that came from that $7,000 I just gave away. And I will say this too.
Go ahead.
For me, it was right around when I started doing 50 deals a year that this really, it challenged me to not just say yes to everything. It was very, very hard for me in that first year, when you come from having nothing and being in debt your whole life. Who do I think I am to say no to $7,000? Like, get off your high horse, Ben, you jerk, and say yes to this. But there's a point you actually have to get over that and go, I'm actually worth having a wonderful transaction with people that are like-minded.
Your family, your mental state, your
all
emotional,
of that.
when you're on a date night with your wife, you're in freaking Disneyland. What's the cost of that phone call to your trip, to your mental connection with your 2 kids? I think we don't cost that. We just see a dollar bill. So Ben, we're kind of wrapping up here. We're gonna.
Oh my gosh, it's so fast.
And it's so fast. I know. I'm trying to, dude. I used to do a lot longer, and I feel like I'm trying to keep it around that 45-minute. But the thing is, it's not. What's on this podcast is incredible. Your insight on social and the idea of trusting that little voice, that gut, that and being okay to say no, and like the toiling. I do want to ask you though, is there anything you'd want to put down on the table, and put anything that you want to say in this podcast that you'd like to just say, something in your something that's on your head or anything like that? I just want to give you the space to do that.
I will fight anyone who does not like sour cream glazed donuts from Tim Hortons. You get off of your high horses. I don't know who you think you are, and it is not an old man donut. It has wonderful taste, and it's the gift that keeps on giving.
I'm inspired. Thank you for representing the sour cream glazed.
The truth needs to be known and needs to be put out there.
Okay, last thing. I always turn the show around at the end because no one's listening right now. Anyways, they always say,
Yeah.
and so I selfishly and also like to be challenged. I always am very serious about growth, and I like to take it with my guests. I love to say, turn a question around on me. If you want to ask me any question, I'm an open book. One question. I'm open to
you know what?
one.
No, that's good. And I think actually the first podcast we did, I kind of asked you a similar question, and so I'll revamp it and ask it again. You're in BC. I see a lot of great stuff with your kids, and your kids are growing. You have teenage kids, and how old's your oldest right now?
17.
17. You know what? I'll just ask you, where's your mind at looking at them coming into adulthood, and how are you? I don't even care about the business side. Just how are you processing that as a dude that had a pretty epic journey into adulthood, being homeless and stuff? How are you processing your kids coming into this and bringing life into that?
You know what? I have to admit, I have zero pressure. Zero. I don't feel it's my responsibility. I feel like my job is being to let them watch me grow. Let my life tell the story. To have honest conversations with them. Both my older kids and my middle one even have been on my personal growth retreats. I believe that we don't nothing's off. Like, we'll talk about sex, masturbation. We'll talk about, like, it really doesn't matter. We'll talk about anything. And I got to say this is why I'm not worried. The other day, my daughter's like, Dad, we talk. He's 16. She sits down with me and goes, so Dad, I kind of got this relationship going. Online, I met this guy. He's in New York, and she's 16. Mm-hmm. And so she comes to me because she wants to hear from me about the relationship. Cool. And I just told her, I said, reality is New York. I said, if we just went odds are pretty low that ever works out. I said, he goes to college, you go to college. I said, what if you found a guy here locally that loves horses, loves all the things you do? Wouldn't you just want to go to that? She goes, yeah, I guess so. I said, sounds like a great friend to me. And she goes, okay, how do I talk to him about that?
Wow.
It wasn't, and she's going to turn him into a friend. And the reason why is because it was, to be honest, if it was up to me, Ben, I would have destroyed my kids, because my pattern is make them effing strong. Okay. That's wrong. It's so wrong. I'll give you an example, and a lot of dads might hear this, and this is why I'm not worried. I really have that. I don't know. They'll do whatever they want. I'll help them, and I'll let them figure it out. And I don't have the pressure. Don't even care if they finish school, to be honest. Don't care. I just don't have any expectation on them other than to be honest, be who they're designed to be is my only ask of them. Do you? And so I remember I went ADD there. You've never done that either, right?
But anyways, no, I always know exactly what I'm going to say at all times.
Anyways,
I think that's even good. Like that,
sure.
that is, I can feel it. That's a beautiful.
I know what
posture.
I was going to say. I do want to say this. Too late, but it's important, because here's the thing. My wife has taught me empathy. My wife has taught me something. I watched her, and it was odd when I was with kids. Like, a kid would hurt. Let's say this kid bumps his knee. Okay, this is what my psyche was. Bumps his knee, or her. Let's go. Her bumps her knee. And she goes, oh my goodness, it hurts. I'm looking at this. First thing I'm doing in my head before I am who I am today is like, really? Like, really? That's you bang your knee and man, there's nothing there. You're going to react like that. So what you do is it bothers me. So I want to stop her from feeling sad.
Right.
But it's not about her. So what it is like, hey, come here, honey. Here, you okay? Let's blow on it. Let's kiss it better. You good now? Good. You're strong. Wow. Bye. And they go, okay, bye, daddy. And I'm thinking, oh, good. But it was about me. It bothered me, stressed me out. Now, the other day, Ben, where I'm at today is that's how I was taught. Like, buck up. The world's going to be eat you alive. The last thing I want to do is baby you. That's a street kid. So anyways, now with working with Renee, and she's helped me so much. She's a serious kid whisperer, no questions asked. And my daughter, I was in my office, I was working, and I heard her trip and fall. I was so happy, even with myself. I just jumped up over her. I was like, "Are you okay?" And it wasn't like I was trying. I just went, "Hey, are you okay?" And I picked her up, held her in my arms, and there was literally nothing. It was so good. And I rubbed her leg. I said, "Are you okay?" And she gives me a hug. She, "I'm okay, Daddy," and runs away. That's it. Guess who was Daddy's girl for 4 days? So what I realized is the exchange of connection is the most incredible deal of the century. I had literally about 180 seconds with my daughter where she felt that I loved her. 4 days. It was Daddy's girl.
That's beautiful.
So, unbelievable. So I have an unreal trust that my kids will, there's nothing I've gone through hell and back. So far they're like set. And so I think there's going to be challenges, but we have an open communication. We have real challenges, but I don't know. I just feel like if we've got a good open relationship, a good honest relationship, and they'll keep talking to me, that's probably where my grade is. If they're letting me in still, I'm like, whatever. So.
I love that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I watch you with your kids, and I always kind of like aspire, like not like I was
no.
I know you hate this.
I've got truly. I've got a million issues.
The same thing
man.
people say to me too. I get it. But no, like I don't know. I look at you and I know what's more. I know you probably yell at your kids and stuff. I get it. So do I. But I'm just saying I love your heart when you have your kids. Like you're what's the word? Your focus on what matters with them, and you make an intention to be there for them. I'm not talking about your performance. I'm talking about the connection. Yeah,
it's hard. And anyways, we don't have to open that door. That's a whole other.
That's our family podcast.
Yeah, let's talk about our parenting failings for an hour. This will be very cathartic. And,
it would actually be a good show. Okay, man.
It'll just be me crying.
Yeah, it's like I suck.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, thanks for the question. And Ben, it's an honor. And having you on, you're a special dude. I have no clue how you run your business in so many ways. I think there's like it's built 1,000% around who you are, and it's a really neat example that you can break all the rules and in some weird way you're absolutely dominating it. I love that. Yet that's your whole theme in life, dude, is break the freaking rules and win. Like you're pro skateboarder. You probably broke every freaking rule on going through that process too. That's what makes you, man. And I appreciate that.
Oh, thanks so much, buddy. It's a joy. I love you, and we'll see each other again, eh?
Yeah. Cheers, buddy. Thanks. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the whole episode. I just want to remind you, realestaterebootcamp.com. This is a place where we're really transforming hustlers into business owners, a place where we're actually designing your life and finding the business model and the style of business that actually is going to serve the life that you want, helping you get really clear on what makes you happy versus just chasing the next deal. That is tiring. It's going to cost relationships. Check it out, realestaterebootcamp.com. Let's chat.